Hello, welcome to your reading today. So, being that it's Earth Day, the day that I'm recording this, the 22nd of April, what I'll be doing is getting a reading from Mother Earth, Gaia, our planet, just to see whatever comes through and see, what message the planet wants to give to you today. Now, funnily enough, I was going to do this earlier, so it's a little bit darker than when I usually stream. And I did a meditation before I usually do the readings, but I fell asleep. So I've woken up, done some chores, and we will now start the reading. So let's take a look at which piles, or which cards come through for each pile. We're going to have 3 piles as per usual. Pile 1. Pile 2. Okay. And pile 3. Alright, let's take a look. So for today, if you're choosing pile 1, you have Goddess Pele and the Lava Stone. Melt into Divine Desire. If you're choosing pile 2, you have Ascended Master, Mother Mary, and Celestite. Unconditional Trust. And if you're choosing pile number 3, you have Goddess Matangi and Heliotrope. Already there is value. Okay, so these will be your 3 piles today. Choose whichever one or cards are calling to you. It's going to say pick whichever one you like, which is true. Pick whichever one you like. You can pick multiple or just one pile. Listen to them all and see which one resonates with you. I'll also let you know these have numbers on them. So this one has Goddess number 888. This one has Crystal Master number 333. And this one here has Goddess number 888 as well. So I'll leave you to it. Down in the description, you'll be able to see the timestamps to jump straight to your video. Otherwise, I'll leave you to it and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, welcome to your reading, pile number 1. So interesting one to come out for this message from Gaia or Mother Earth from our planets that we live on. You've got Goddess Pele, volcano goddess, right, of Hawaiian mythology and culture. So this is strength. It does feel like a lot of power. It also looks like, as you can see here, very much involved with like the root chakra, like the foundations, right? The survival, fight or flight, who you are at your core. And this says here, a mountain's divine desire. I don't know too much about the lava stone, but it really does play along with the whole idea of the volcano, lava, that kind of thing. It's an interesting looking one, kind of reminds me of scoria or pumice, but obviously dark, but it really does remind me of scoria, which was just like a rock that, well, growing up in New Zealand, so there was a lot of mountains and volcanoes and that kind of thing, and rocks that had been expelled out of volcanoes from miles and miles away that landed in the earth, and the land hadn't actually covered them all. So it was an interesting kind of like world to grow up in as well, and I feel like that kind of plays into this card as well, and potentially even Hawaiian culture, even though New Zealand and Hawaii is quite different tropical wise, but in the same kind of like family of the Pacific Islands. So this does, what do I get from this straight away? Change. This feels like an opportunity to really start to no longer procrastinate or slow down or just stay dormant. This is about getting what you want and going for what you want, essentially. This could be anything. This could be a shift in job, a change with relationship with certain family members. It could be, you know, going to do that class you really want to do. This is about actively deciding on the change you want to see or do in your life. So that's what I got straight away, and I was like, well, this is going to be an interesting one. But I do like it really does play into the earthiness, the ground, the power and majesty, I guess, of the planet, of the earth we live in on. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to use some oracle cards. If I still sound a little dazed, I'm actually very well connected. You know, before you go to sleep and after you wake up, you're actually in a pretty prime position to set intentions and connect with source energies. So I was like, well, what a prime opportunity. If I slept during a meditation, then why not utilize the in-between to connect with Gaia, let's say, with Mother Earth, and get a reading for you guys. I'm gonna squeeze in there. Yeah, I'll take these two. Okay. So a lot of earthy cards, which would make sense with this reading. I do like there is a little bit of the natural world and also the etheric in here as well, but a lot of crystals and, you know, traditional kind of like cards. This one here is the Aboriginal Ancestral wisdom, so it's got that connection with like historical culture and like, you know, the like kind of like original people kind of story, that kind of thing. All right, so let's take a look here, and I think it really does match well with like the Hawaiian, because it's like the native tribes, native people here, native people of Australia. So it's like their origin kind of energy. All right, so you have peaceful on one side and violent on the other. So it always has like a shadow and a light. It's an interesting one with violent because what is the volcano? The volcano is kind of like a violent, I guess expulsion, right? It's like it's a violent event. If a volcano is erupting, it's kind of like a violent event. It's like a kind of like this, like it expels like certain parts of the earth out, the inner mantle or whatever it is, like the inner earth out into the atmosphere. It can be slow, can be kind of like, you know, smoke for a few days. I remember growing up in New Zealand and people started leaving Mount Maunganui. I lived close to that place and people were getting out of there because it started to smoke and they weren't sure if it was going to erupt. Also more recently, in the last few years, White Island erupted in New Zealand and that caused some damage, and I think people lost their lives because it's not really a place where people live, but is where people visit, and there were tourists and stuff there. So, you know, it can be kind of like violent. How does this happen? This is really saying it's time to start making the shifts and changes you want to see, because maybe things have started to bubble up and you don't want to compress either issues or things, you know, you need to start talking about, whether that's going to therapy or talking to the people that need to know how you're feeling, or just expressing something in some way. That doesn't have to be like a shadowy thing, like something you have held back, but maybe like a need to go do something, the freedom, or what is it? Giving yourself the okay to go do what you want to do. There's that kind of energy coming through. So to avoid any kind of like outbursts or like blow up, you've been given the okay from the cards. You just have to give the okay from yourself to head towards that goal, whatever this is about. We'll see what else comes through, of course, but if you're reading this and you just wanted like a quick message, go do it. Go forward. This is the okay, but you have to give the final okay, right? You can get millions of messages saying it's okay to do this, it's okay to do this, but You're the decider. You have free will, you decide. This isn't about being told what to do. This is about giving you the okay to give yourself the okay to go do what you want to do. Okay, but we'll keep going, of course. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Change. So you've got the butterfly, and that's what I was like, when this card came out, I was like, this is a great time for change. Change is challenging though, of course. Like when we move house or something like that, it's an adjustment, right? It can be exciting because we're moving from a house that we were in to the house we're going to, and it could be like an upgrade, let's say, or an opportunity to expand our family. Before in 2-bedroom, we had 1 child. Now we want more. Now we're going to this. So it's good, it's positive, but it's still an adjustment. There's still an adjustment. And that can be for the better, or, you know, in our human mind, it could be for the better or worse. Regardless, it's an opportunity to grow and shift. And you're getting the opportunity to complete this. I feel like whatever it is, it'll keep prodding and poking at you at certain times in your life. You're not being told to do this within a certain amount of time. This is just the opportunity. See this as a clear opportunity. Love butterflies, and it's nice that that one's coming through as well. You also have the Pendragon sword. That's a really interesting one. There's so much stuff coming through with this one. I'll have to read the book exactly what the Pendragon sword means. But what I was getting is like a firm, solid foundation, protection, and the right to charge. When I say charge, I mean kind of like walk into rather than rush into. This is like you have completed everything you need to. You kind of mastered, or you've done the work to get to here. Now it's the opportunity to progress further. But I'll give this a quick read just to see what the book says. But it feels like solid energy, like rooted energy. Like this is have a firm base to build on, if that makes sense. Right. It says here, balanced power. I'll read a little bit just because why not? It says, this consecrated sword represents balanced power and wisdom, qualities bestowed only to those who have earned them. That's what I mean. You've earned this. You've got the solid foundation down. You're in a good prime position. Don't have to overanalyze, overthink. Just know what is calling to you. Open your heart space and go towards that. It's a really nice message from Gaia, because, you know, sometimes as humans we think we are the problem, right, of the earth. Like if we just left, everything would be better sometimes. But this is knowing that you are an integral part of the earth in this moment in time. So instead of worrying about what you're not doing right, start doing what you feel is correct, instead of, you know, focusing on what we're doing wrong. Just focus on what you want to do that's correct for you, that, you know, is loving, supportive of everyone else's kind of like path and that kind of thing too. But you're really here to progress, and this is the time of focusing on what you want, I guess. What do you want change? What do you want to grow in? So really nice message. Let's see. This is a coming of age for you. Absolutely. You've got the change card and this card. This is a big shift. It feels like a big shift. Kind of like, you know, a big shift would be how the earth goes from, you know, a cataclysmic event happens and it shifts so quickly. And for the earth to shift quickly, that's, you know, a big deal. It doesn't shift quickly normally. It slowly, incrementally changes temperature or things like that, even though we have hurried it along. I mean, like, you know, when the theory of the dinosaurs being wiped out by the comet, and then it being covered in like ash, and then it turns into like a kind of like a frozen wasteland, right? Got caught, it chilled. Like that was a big change. So while I'm not talking about this happening on an earthly scale, this is could be a big shift for you. Something that's rooted in foundations being shifted up, like moving on up. Okay. Says here, you are bestowed the power of the dragon, ruler, king, and magician. This great honor and privilege is also a great responsibility. You can hold this power indefinitely for as long as you honor, respect, and use it wisely. Nice. So, you know, it's a great position to be in, really. So you also have Malachite. I mean, look, transformation coming through. If you didn't get the idea that this is transformative and a big change, then, you know, here's all the cards to show you. But this is pain relief, transformation, vision, and powerful protection. I feel like visions here is really important because you have quite clear clarity. Okay, I shouldn't have said that because it's too many like sounds. But for my mouth to move around right now. But anyway, this is really touching on you have clarity and you've got enough. You don't have to over process or anything. You have enough vision. You have enough to make the first steps towards these goals. But this doesn't feel like just one little step. You have, this is a leap. This is a big step. So go towards that. Powerful protection. You know, this is the time. This is a good time. And you also have Amber coming through with harmony. That's where this balanced power is coming through. Harmony, home protection, calm, and attracts love. This is the attracts love really feels like you are that beacon of radiance, which is drawing in the opportunities that you want to see. And, you know, sometimes they feel like, I really want this, I really want that. And then they get the opportunity and it's like, oh, but I'm kind of comfortable in my cocoon right now. I don't really want to take the next step and become the butterfly. Well, that's absolutely fine. You choose, but this is what you wanted. So here it is. Here's the opportunity to go get what you want. Do you know how it'll play out? No. And that's the scary part. That's where you have faith in knowing that you've already built up to get to here. Now, what do you do? What do you do in this moment? Wow, it's a big reading for you, pile number one. The earth is kind of nudging you forward. Like these two. Like three's enough. Okay, so we can get some more information on this reading. I mean, what more is there? Interesting talking about moving home before. You know, I was just using it as an example, but you've got the Amber card. And I feel like Amber is great for home harmony, house harmony within your home, relationships, you know, the people you live with. It's such a nice, energetical, what does it say? Crystal, I guess? I mean, it's tree wax. Not wax, sorry. Tree sap. So it's interesting saying like it's a crystal, but I guess, you know, for argument's sake, you know what I kind of mean. I want another one. Okay. So you have the Seven of Pentacles. Yep. There's no rush. Take your time. Yeah, Magician, this is what that was talking about. You're the king, you're the magician, you're kind of like all the powerful energies to make this dream a reality, this hope and the star card kind of energy into a reality, getting the magician here. Kind of like the dream weaver, it kind of feels like. I know he's or she is doing some looks like kind of like energy work, right? Creating a portal or even attracting whatever's coming through the portal. Do you know exactly what it is? No, but you know it's something that you've been wanting. And you also have the Hanged Man. I feel like you've been waiting for this, but I also feel like this is an opportunity to flourish and grow. And it's not going to be like the future isn't going to necessarily be paved out and clear. You have enough vision to know what you want. You don't know how it's going to happen, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Take your time with this. You don't have to be at a particular point in your life due to age, due to what your friends are up to, what people in your social group, even sometimes with me, I think, wow, some of my friends who had children, early on or recently or anything like that, they've just gotten so older, like they're in high school and, almost finishing. So it's just really interesting, right? But it doesn't mean that I have to be doing anything necessarily. They're living their life. I'm living my life. That's it. That's it. We're just living our own kind of life, and we're making life choices every day. So you also have the Empress card. Nice that the Earth is coming through here. This is Naga of the Golden Lotus, and Nagas are like serpent spirits, I guess, or serpent beings. They show up in Hinduism, I believe. I don't know all the ins and outs, but they come from like that area of the world, mythologically or historically. So Empress card, this sometimes is shown with the earth inside the belly of a kind of like a goddess, right, of Gaia. So this feels like the very Gaia card. And you can see here it's stretching out into the cosmos, which is really, really nice. This is all about nurturing as well. You got the Magician, very masculine card. Empress, very feminine card. Overall, together, there's that blend, but it's also, they're both action cards. They're about knowing what you have and what you can utilize to get what you want. So this is a huge opportunity for you. You've paved the way to get to here. You've kind of done the hard work. This is the trust and faith and belief in self. But mountain to divine desire, right? That's like you've wanted this. Now you just have to let it be, or let it come through, allow it in. Wow. You also have the Heart card, the 10 of Portals. This is also the 10 of Cups. So that is the, the 10 of Cups to get to this happy ending, or this like great point in time. You've had to go through many different challenges. The Cups, while they're always loving and supportive and growth and emotional and psychic, all that kind of good energy, there's also challenges within there, right? There's the 4, the 5, the, some of that, the 8 even. All the cards can have different challenges in them. There's shadow and light and all. And, if you have sometimes the 10 of Portals and it's like shadow aspect would be getting what you thought was right for you instead of going for what you know is correct for you, or what you have been drawn to. So your cups have been filled, but it's filled with things that are maybe really beautiful, but to you isn't fulfilling. So this is an opportunity to fill your cups with the things that are fulfilling, that in your heart is what you want. We get caught up in culture, right? If you're this gender and this age, you should have these children at this, you should have a child at this age, or you should be focusing more on your career, or you should be like settling down at this age. You don't have to do any of that. You just go with what you feel is correct for you. That's how people are happy, because they just break out of the norms of society and go for what they want. Is it an easy path? No, but it's an opportunity to really develop personally, like self-development. Hi. Okay. All right, and then finally here you've got the Mountain card with Paladin of Earth Guardians. Really nice one to show progress, like the 7 as well. Slow moving. This is a Knight of Pentacles. And it's interesting with the mountains. The mountains give an opportunity to see clearly and, plan your next steps out. But when I'm saying planning, it's not procrastinating. It's not like purposely slowing down to like just see what happens. This is actively making a strategy, actively making plans towards your goals. So that's like, when she's upside down, or the Hanged Man's upside down, he's letting go of perceived belief systems or perceived things that you need. Like, oh, I'm carrying, in a video game, right? You might be carrying all this junk stuff because you're like, I might need this one day. When you have like 4 suits of armor, right? You don't need all that. What do you need to wear right now? What's important now? You can sell the other stuff, utilize that money to, you know, upgrade your equipment or whatever and go towards a goal. I know I'm talking about it in a video game, but that's kind of the thing. You hold on to these things in games, which we do in real life too, hold on to these belief systems, which we've been told we're not good enough from someone who was really important to us, or we've taken that as the message when it maybe not had been the intention. Maybe they didn't word it right, but you know, those kind of things. Or we've taken on a belief because that's what all X gender does, or X belief, like because you follow this religion you have to be like this. Look, it's the earth just really wants you to kind of dream big, go towards those goals. How do you get there? One step at a time. It really is just one step at a time. The 7 of Pentacles and the Mountain card is a process. Let's say if you wanted to start a new business or create your own business, it can be kind of overwhelming, right? But what do? You learn what you need to do. You learn about what steps to take. You learn about pitfalls and advice and stuff like that. And YouTube and the internet has so much information now. You can get it from going to classes, or you can just get it from reading up about it. It's your path, it's your story, what feels right to you. This is a big opportunity for you. Pile number 1. Huge amounts of opportunity for change and that kind of thing. I do like this, even though it says violent, doesn't sound great, right? Violence is never really the answer, but violent can be just like it's bubbling up and you want to honor yourself instead of leaving it and then turning it into blame of like other people stopped you, other people did this and that. This is an opportunity for you to take responsibility and go forward. It's no one else's fault. And you know, there's no point in blaming self or others. This is just like, well, instead of all finding out who I need to blame, find out what I need to do to go towards a better version of myself, or you know, express myself in a way that feels honorable to me. Okay, I believe that's going to be it for you, pile number 1. Kind of a very deep, intense reading. A lot of change, transformation, and push. These cards have kind of slowed it down, which really I feel like is going to be good for you. This is just like taking a step at a time. You don't stress about the plants that are growing or like the weather, because maybe the plants won't grow before you've even purchased the seed or know what you're going to grow. What do you want to grow? What do you want to see in your future? Don't worry about how right now. It's more like, what do you want to see? What is your dream or envisioning of the garden that you want? And then, you know, research, do what you need to do to go towards that, make a plan to go towards that. If you're worried that, like, I don't know, something's happening on the opposite side of the world, what's that got to do with this specific thing? Focus and pull your intention onto what's important. And then, you know, if you really want to get involved in the other stuff, you know, all power to you. Put energy into it if you feel it's important. Okay. Destiny's in your hands. Pile number 1, thank you so much for letting me read for you today. Beautiful reading. I do love when the Empress and the 10 of Cups are next to each other, because it's just that loving, supporting energy. And I feel like that's really the supportive energy of the earth, right? She's here to provide abundance and give you the tools so that you can go create what you want to see in the world, or feel in the world, or be in the world. All right. All power to you. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello, hello. Welcome to your reading, pile number 2. So today you've chosen a very interesting card, I feel, for a message from Mother Earth. You've actually got Mother Mary coming through, and Celestite. I actually have a cluster of Celestite with me as well. This is talking about unconditional trust. the first thing that hit me when this flipped over was like, how is this related to anything earthbound? But then I was thinking, well, of course, Mother Mary, you know, was a figure from history, especially in Christianity belief system, was like the mother of Jesus, right, or Yeshua. And so it's just an interesting card to come through. But, you know, this is someone who, the Ascended Masters are beings that generally were on a particular planet or on this planet, right? On the Earth, they had to go through many trials and challenges, but they mastered a particular skill to really support and help the people around them, their family, their loved ones, or even greater, the people around them as in a country or planet. So interesting ones come through. One thing when I was shuffling and I was like, what is this coming through? Was like the Galactic or Intergalactic Council. Generally, you know, I guess in spiritual community, it talks to like ETs, a group of ETs trying to help the worlds or planets where there are sentient beings, essentially. Kind of like has rules and stuff like that and regulations. Who knows what's actually true and what's out there, but that kind of energy was coming through. So I feel like there's going to be energy of like above. You could see this as like angelic realm or even ETs or starseeds if you follow that. Whatever you really connect with that. I don't know why that needed to come through. I did intend this to be just from the Earth, but I feel like there is Galactic Council kind of energy coming through as well. So if that sounds a little bit too woo-woo, you know, go with what you feel is correct. But we'll see what the message is. This card is coming up with unconditional trust. This is like self-belief. So your message is turning inwards rather than outwardly getting a message. Okay, so I hope that helps. Even the Celestite feels like connection, communication with higher realm beings. Your angel guides, your ancestors who have passed, loved ones who have passed, your guides themselves, you know, etc., etc. Whatever you feel is more comfortable for you to connect with, because that's what it's all about. It's not really about what figures come through that you need to kind of like label or box. It's really about what feels correct to you, what feels right to you. Okay. We have some really nice cards here. We've got very earthy cards, right? Of course, Aboriginal Ancestral Wisdom has like that connection with earth and culture, right? Especially if not really, even if you're in Australia, there's native cultures in all lands. There's native people lineage going back when the people arrived in those countries, or even before that, right? We don't even know when some of the people turned up. So it's always an interesting one, but it connects back with our lineage and history, wherever you're from. You got here through some way, somehow, you got to be here on this planet in this moment. And there would have been a lineage of a whole line of beings before you. Okay. Now, do I think the Intergalactic or Galactic Council really changed the reading at all? I would say no. I feel like it's just something that needed to be mentioned. It felt like it needed to be said. All right, so let's take a look at the Oracle cards. So you have Amazed and Shocked. That's really interesting. You might be, something might be coming through. This almost looks like a cockroach in a way. Like, it's not always the nicest thing to say, right? Amazed, but it almost feels like something that you've survived through the heart of it, like the it seems like the heart. It keeps coming up with the heart of it. I would say like the most challenging stuff, and now you're in a point of the other side, you've overcome or got onto the other side of the challenges, of the difficulties. And now what do you do with that? There's some kind of self-belief and opportunity here. Very similar, I'm going to say, to part one in a sense, but this feels like more of an understanding of your resolve and who you are, and having not just complete trust in the higher beings. This is complete trust in yourself and belief that you can be and do the things that you want to do. Okay. Oh, that's really nice. You got the elephant with compassion. Really nice card. Beautiful card too, how it's dressed up and painted. And this depiction, right? Very, I don't know, it feels just very, even though it's not very natural to draw on an elephant or anything, but just like, it just feels very, like, feels like home, I guess. And compassion is an aspect of ourself that kind of gets distorted as we fall through the layers, or not really fall, but we travel down into incarnation, right? It's like love turns into something else. Compassion turns into this thing that is only okay for some people, right? Instead of compassion for all. And so this is like, I feel like you're going through an internal awakening or an internal spiritual growth in some way. It's going to be hard if you think you know everything or something like that. I'm not trying to dig or anything, but there's some part that's like, if you think you already have everything you need, then it's harder to learn and grow. So this is just about opening up and just seeing what you can learn. It's always interesting with the people that feel that, and then they'll say, no, I don't believe that I know everything. I definitely don't. But if they're real honest with themselves, they kind of do, you know. So it's okay to just like check in with yourself, I would say, with this card coming through. But compassion is lovely. It's all about being supportive and helping others in need, but also yourself. You probably come here to help Earth ascend. We'll see with this card. But yeah, it's just really clear with that one. So you have Oromasis. That's an interesting one. I don't know this card very well, but I feel like there's like an aspect of heart and transformation with this card. We'll see exactly what the book says about this, but Oromasis kind of reminds me of like almost like a scientific term, right? Like osmosis, like that transition, or that kind of like that what do you call it? Traveling between a layer. I'm going to read the book now, actually. I just want to see what this one is. 43. Oh, okay. This one talks actually about purification. Cleanse. I feel like you've gone through a lot of that. And even here, when I was talking about the cockroach, right? You've kind of come out the other side of something. I still want to keep that shift from from the past to the present. Like there's that transition. It says here, many unexpressed thoughts and emotions stored across time remain locked inside you. Disappointments, fear, worry, and feelings of inadequacy and guilt. Nothing serious, just remnants of life experiences. It is the moment to release these emotions and purify your thoughts. There's no need to analyze and relive the past. I like that. That's why I was like, this is like a transition from, that's why it still feels like that, you know, you transition from the past into where you've got to now. And while that's always true, right, we're always progressing, but we as humans love to live in the past, right? We love to go back and it's like, well, when I was a kid, you said this to me, so that's why I couldn't do this in my life. Not saying that that was okay of what they said or anything like that, but at this point, that truth, that past truth hasn't been your truth for the last 20 years. So why are you holding on to it, right? This is opportunity to drop the need to be right about something. This is just to drop the need to fight a fight that is no longer in your reality. It's time to grow and shift and change. So I feel like Mother Mary, and for some of you, might even be working with you, hugely loving, supportive being. But I feel like the earth is just showing you all this, kind of like, you know, the earth was here for your whole life. You have I mean, unless you were born out in space, right? Or on a space station. I don't know if that's actually happened. Let's like dive into that. But just like, you know, the Earth has had records of your beginning, and well, let's say hopefully, I would say will be, but hopefully we'll be here and your passing, right? So it has the complete record of where you've walked, what you've done, everything has complete record, so it knows as well. But it really wants you to move forward, I feel, or progress, grow. So you have fire with passionate, creative, travel, and courage. I love that, because this is getting out of your head and into, you know, I was going to say manipulating, but manipulating can come off negative. Transmuting some of the energy into progress, into change that you want to see, you know, positive leaps or steps forward. Wow, what's the odds of Celestite and Celestite coming through? That is interesting. I feel like there's like 50 cards here in this deck, and there's like maybe 30, 40 cards in this one. Oh yeah, this one's 31, so it must be at least 40. Just the odds of those two coming through is wild. See, this is why I was like, there's some higher communication here. You've got communicating with angels. That's why your angel guides, your higher being guides, even your ancestors, because they've, you know, they've completed their lives. Even if you go back, you know, hundreds of years, thousands of years, they've completed their life. They have certain lessons that they may have learned. They may have learned their similar lessons that you've learned as well. So you're connecting with them. I said the Galactic Council, it might be them as well. It might be some kind of like arc to your previous world that you were, you know, majority of your lifetimes have been on. Who knows exactly, but this is following here. You've got tranquility. This is supposed to be a good time in your life. This is supposed to be where things start to calm or sail more smoothly. The challenges have been, unless you're still going through them, majority of the difficult ones have already happened. So this is like, what do you do with all that energy or that those things? How do you move on in a loving, compassionate way? So you've got tranquility, good fortune, deep meditation. Yeah, this is an interesting reading. The fact that the fire and Celestite's so cool and you know, mellow, like that blue color, that powdery light blue color. The fire just like highlights it, right? It just like fuels it, puts energy into this message. Now it's just showing me like spaceship type energy. Look, I have no idea what that's necessarily about. This kind of like ET kind of energy, but we'll see if anything else comes through. Maybe it's just like hey, we're here, we're supporting you, you're not alone. Chill, have fun, enjoy life. You know, that kind of energy. I do like this. This is all about calming emotions, harmonizing with your body, your soul. Because regardless of, you know, what starseed you are, or like what moon or what planets we're in, whatever, you can evolve beyond your star signs. You can evolve beyond astrology. You can evolve beyond your starseed, because you are you, and you're this version once in like all your lifetimes, right? You're this one version of you in this particular body, in this particular timeline, and this particular planet. This is your opportunity to mark or make a mark on your soul's kind of like journey and growth, without relying on past lives, without, you know, focusing on, well, this planet was here in this birth chart, so therefore I can't do these type of things because this blocks it. It's like you can evolve well beyond there. Utilize your birth chart, your numerology, anything like that, and see it as like a tool more so than like a limitation. If it should never limit you, ever. And if it has been, it's time to maybe just take a breath from it, and start to connect with yourself and start believing and trusting yourself. Like, look, unconditional trust. Okay. Okay, I wasn't going to grab this one, but this one really wants to come through. Just going to put 2 up there. Yeah, it feels like you've been through harder stuff than the decisions you can make to get through to this new stage. It's kind of like before, some of the stuff may have just happened, right? And you had to respond to it and go through whatever popped up. But now it's like you have the power to make the certain changes that you want to see. And that can be a blessing, and it can be kind of like daunting. So definitely not being judged. Yeah, this one. Okay, and this one. This one's come up reversed, so I'm gonna keep that reversed. It literally flew out and then flipped. So, you know, don't see reverses as negative, just see it as like whatever will come of it. Okay, so you have the Sage of Activation, Logic and Structure. Really nice card. This, you can see this is the King of Swords. Activations in this deck are swords, which makes sense with the logic, the structure. But he's also very intelligent, right? He's kind of mastered or got to a point where he has the power to utilize, you know, the ideas of the people, of his queen, of whatever, of his own kind of mind, and transform it or put it into, it's kind of like put it into form, put it into reality. So you have the power to make this happen, whatever this is. You have power over your own mind and emotions. It's not about controlling them, but it's definitely not about them controlling you. It's finding harmony, right? It's finding balance and harmony. I have full faith in you with this card coming through. That's how it wants to come through. You also have Direction and Delegation. This is the Sage of Light code, so you're getting 2 kings coming through. I do like that they're coming through as sage, because sages feel like more knowledge, right? They're historical knowledge gained and then sharing it with the world. So this is the Sage of Wands. That's that energy and passion, that creative power. So you've got the power of heart and mind coming through here. And again, fire, like, you know, this is passion. This is all about going forward with what you need and want. So the card that's coming through reversed is the 3 of Pentacles, really interesting. This may mean that there's 2 points to this. There's like shifting away from a collective group that is no longer really working for you. They may be great people, but it's kind of like breaking off and doing your own thing. Like, you know, if you're in a business, breaking off and becoming your own, kind of like creating your own business, right? That kind of thing separately. But also, so that could be like separate or going towards a group that are starting to do something different, like, you know, from one religion to like a more open spiritual kind of belief. You know, this is up to you, but that's kind of the energy I'm getting from that. So you're being opened up, I think, probably by like you might have started to already see this. I feel like this could have played into some celestial event, like the what is it, the eclipse that we've just had this month recently. If you're watching this in the future, then you know, we had the solar eclipse that cut through the United States mostly, and Texas, like, you know, Texas started part of the United States, but like then I think a lot of it was quite well seen and through the state of Texas as well. So you have another 3. I like that. You've got 2 3s coming out and 2 sages. It's interesting because it's like doop doo. Well, this one here, this is like, it's your time. You know when the waves coming in, you can see the waves that are out there. You've been given a higher vantage point to see what's coming next. But what do you want that to be, right? You don't want to be waiting for a wave that you don't want. If you don't actually want to surf, don't surf. Like, do something else. but this is like an opportunity to see what's coming. You're being put into a good position to kind of like feel out the energy. Like, you know, what, if there's like trouble in a relationship, you can kind of feel what it's about. Start to have that dialogue. You know, if it's at work and you know there's something that's more powerful and more exuberant to express yourself, right? This is all about internal coming out. So that's really what I want to drill home in this reading. This is about your internal coming out, your internal being expressed in a way that is positive. Like, you'll be surprised at what you can create and what you can do. All right, so you have the Seven of Cups, make a decision. This is pretty much just make a choice. Make a choice on how you want to proceed. Yeah, I was talking about the past here as well. This is a good opportunity to leave the past behind, but also to tap into that inner child energy, or even like not relive, but reminisce on the good and positive, like the good positive signs. Signs? What am I saying? The good and positive past things that have occurred. It wasn't all difficulty and challenge, right? There was blessings and there was times of joy, even if it was to just get out of the situations you were in to where you are now, right? No matter what, there's lessons and strength to gain from progress from past things, let's say. I know I'm kind of like chopping and changing with it. Not really chopping, changing, but just like, it really is just like the past. I don't like to say people, you know, focus on the past, because the past has already been, but there's always learning and lessons, especially if you haven't really got why this occurred in my life. What can I actually gain from this tragedy, or what can I gain from this change? There's always some kind of like learning there. And I feel like your guides are also coming through with the earth. It's like, you are loved and supported. And while a bazillion, everyone on earth could say that to you, but you have to feel it and feel it for yourself, and you have to love and support yourself as well. You know, do you do that? Do you consider yourself, like, do you have love and faith and consider yourself worthy? I like this as well. This came up in pile number 1, the 10 of Cups, and from this deck, which is known as the 10 of Portals. But 10 of Cups, finishing a reading, you're worth, like, I just want to say, you're worth it. You're worth hitting and getting what makes you happy. You can see these two ladies here, right? You know, throughout history, queer couples have had it pretty freaking tough trying to establish a relationship. They could have their children taken away from them. They could go to prison, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not just talking about, you know, that kind of minority group. I'm talking about like every kind of like culture, especially gender, right? Throughout history has been kind of like, you know, if you're this, then you have to do these things. If you're that, you have to do these things. Both sides could have wanted to like do things on different sides, right? But it wasn't like seen as okay, depending on the culture, depending on history, you know, etc. But this is really about getting what fulfills you. In its shadow, it gets what fulfills. You get filled up with emotions or fulfillment, but maybe it's getting something that you don't actually really want. So go for the things that actually sing to your heart. This is a huge opportunity for completing, progressing in a soul goal, or like in a contract that you have predestined, let's say, or decided. I kind of see like our post, the like pre-life, as like deciding what we want to like tick off, right? When we're here, how that works out is up to us. Do we remember it? No, because that would be too easy, right? Be nice, but that's just how the things work here. I don't know why, because I am not all of source, so I have no idea. But it would be easy, but we don't know. And so we go left and right and up and down and all over the place. But that's okay. We're not here to live perfectly. We're here to grow in whatever challenges and situations that occur. There's certain things that may come up, but I don't believe that we have our whole plan destined out. And if you do believe that, then you're going to bring that self-fulfilled prophecy into your reality. If you believe, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Do you even feel called to it? Ask yourself these questions, because if not, then why? Okay, I'm going to leave that there. I don't know if I've actually answered any questions. It always comes back to unconditional trust. This is about belief in self and really just self-belief. You've got 2 Celestite cards coming through, which is kind of wild because it's the only, there's only 1 Celestite here in this deck. There's only 1 Celestite card in this deck, and they've both come through. And I feel like that's really strongly proving that this is a message from higher up, a message from higher beings. Earth is a higher being too. It's just, we see it as like here with us in the physical world, but this is a message from Gaia. It's also a message from as above, so below type message. So really embody and do the things that you feel drawn to or called to. Okay, well, that's what I see in your reading today. So thank you so much for letting me read for you pile number 2. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, hello, welcome to your reading pile number 3. So you've chosen Goddess Matangi and the Heliotrope. Already there is, sorry, I was going to say already there's enough, but already there is value. Such a nice card. This feels like we're going to go deep into maybe some of the sub layers of you and the earth to get this message. So it could be going into some kind of like deep dive, taking a deep dive into your emotions, feelings, mind. So have a look at that one. Okay, let's get some cards first off. Yeah, this one. I'll grab that one. These have been shuffled before I do the readings, even between each pile. So if one's like trying to fly at me straight away, I'll take it. Oops, I'll take that one. Lovely earthy cards too. Remember, this is your message from Mother Earth, Gaia, whatever you want to know it as. I would say home as well. We may put up boundaries in, this country owns this land, etc. But this is really an opportunity to just say that this is our home, our world that we live in. We are on it, we're also a part of it, and we also influence it, right? And vice versa. Just noticed some ants coming in through the window, which is interesting, so I will take care of that after stream. But interesting when it is ants coming through during a reading, right? I didn't notice it during the other readings, just notice it now. I would say that with the ants coming through on your reading, they can have many different meanings, but it really does feel like collaboration, cooperation. You have what you need to do what you want, but I feel like there's more than that. Like, that's a very blasé kind of simple answer to this. This is connecting with past selves, older aspects of yourself, like when you were like 10, 12, 13, whatever. There's like purpose here, but we'll have a look at the reading because I'm just going off one card and these many ants that are coming through the house. So you've got concerned and you've got assured. These are very thoughtful emotions, right? Concerned is like, what are you concerned about? Where's that coming from? What does it stem from? And even assured, it's like, okay, something's come into my reality to show that this is okay, or this has been clarified, or whatever. But it's more like this is in the mind. The element here is desert as well, and desert can be a place of like where thoughts and feelings come out, right? I know Coachella's on, or has finished, I'm not too sure, but around that time, that was popping up in adverts, even though it's, I don't know why, it's not really something that we do in Australia. But regardless, go out to the desert and you kind of be free, right? That's the idea of it. I'm not too sure, but that's kind of what I see. It's like an opportunity for people to just express themselves, let loose in whatever way they feel is correct for them. And how do they do that? Like, what happens? It's the conversations, it's the thought-provoking things that come out of it. So this is definitely popping into your head or popping into your mind, this reading. It did come out with this side up, so I'll keep it as it is, even though I feel like both are important because they both just focus inwards. Even these arrows are pointing inwards, right? Yeah, this is internal. This is in the head and the heart and the emotional aspects of the body, spleen, whatever, it's internal. Okay, so you have giraffe with perception. I do like this for you because it gives you a higher vantage point to see what's coming. Giraffes can see danger coming. They have, they can reach leaves that are higher up so that they can decide, do I want to do X, Y, Z? That kind of thing. Do I want to go into this area? Do I want to eat this? I can reach it. But also perception is like one side of the coin. Like if I watch a video and it's taken from the angle of like the actual movie, right, and what they edit and show, I can see like the CGI, the drama, the music, the voice kind of gets altered and put into a real clear way of hearing. And then if you look at it from like the director's cut or the director's kind of like talk through of the movie, you see another angle of the movie, and maybe if it's just a voiceover, they'll explain certain things, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, I wanted to use this filter to show like a green filter like they use in the Matrix, right? When they're on Earth to show kind of like the mundane, or like when I say the Earth, I mean the Matrix Earth, the kind of artificial Earth. Like there's like that metallic, or not metallic, what is it? That fake, I guess, kind of like film over the world, over this created Matrix world. So I feel like that's coming through. I probably went a little bit too far into it, but this is talking about seeing things even from the past in different ways, seeing other people's points of view. You may not agree with their point of view, but if you can kind of like understand, why did they say these things? Why does my sister, brother, mother, father, relation say these types of things? Is it to antagonize me? Maybe in some way it is. There might be a layer of that. Maybe where does it come from though? It's really, what's the issue? Knowing that someone else's thoughts and ideas and what they say is them projecting maybe something, a belief from the past, or a belief from what they feel that is going on, and they're just projecting it in your direction, right? So it's not about you, it's about them dealing with their own stuff. And I feel like you'll see that a lot, especially with comments on YouTube and that kind of thing. It's a whole bunch of people just projecting because they're not happy with the way their life's wound up, or they're not happy with how things are going, or maybe they're enjoying life and they just want to share a lovely comment, right? It's like, it tells you a lot about the person, especially if it's like, a nice family thing, outing, whatever, and then people will jump on it because they're exploiting their family or something like that. They'll make up kind of like pretty much a lot of bullshit just to get some kind of imaginary point across, when they've only seen maybe 10 seconds of a particular family, right? They don't know anything really. They're projecting something that's probably happened to them, and they're forcing it into someone else's reality, which is not going to help anybody. So perception is a good place to be, is pretty much what I'm trying to say. So you have Maitreya. That's an interesting one. This feels like coming to a crossroad, or like meeting, having communication with a higher being to talk about something. I feel like you've connected, you're starting to connect with a greater version of yourself. But it's not just personal, it's also like when you get to understand yourself more, you get to appreciate and understand why people do the things they do in the world the way it is more as well. So there's like, I guess, a double layered aspect to this, if that makes sense. We'll have a look at the book because I think there's something in here to say. Yeah, right. Wisdom of the ages. That's why it's like, it feels like you're coming towards something or like connecting with something. So you're connected with, you know, this is a message from Earth. It could be Gaia or Earth, or it could be like a higher version of yourself, like your higher self, or just even like a past life or guides, etc., whatever you believe is true. I'm going to read some of this because Wisdom of the Ages is an interesting one. You have been on Earth many times, and you shall return many more to come. Whether you like that or not, sorry. That's just what's in the book. From each lifetime, you keep the most precious experiences, the ones that have made you the beautiful soul you are. You have witnessed humanity's unfolding and experienced all there is. Your mother in this life may have been your daughter in another. You may one day be your child's child. You have experienced poverty and wealth, happiness, sadness, sickness, and health, and through it all, you have, in essence, stayed the same. Life is one endless cycle, and you are your soul's endless unfoldment. Millions of Earth years have passed, and many more millions will come. What will the future be? What shall it bring? Perhaps we will see all things differently. Perhaps we can start now. Is not everyone and everything worth loving? We are not all, in essence, are we not all, in essence, of the same family? So it really is kind of like pushing what I was talking about with the giraffe, right? That perception. We've had so many different lives. It says we're essentially the same. I feel like that's not fully true. I feel like we grow and evolve. We start to take on new tasks, and especially in this kind of like sped up Earth plane growth opportunity, right? There's some kind of like potential for a leap, but I don't know what that is exactly. But I guess that's in a more collective view. But it's really coming back to the point of, are we not all one? Let's start focusing or feeling into that energy of oneness. Okay, so you've got smoky quartz. This is a very earth, well, it says earth connection, but this is a very earthy crystal, right? It's that kind of like root chakra, soul, what is it? Earth star chakra kind of energy. It says dispels negative energy, home protection, earth connection, achieving career success. Very nice. If that's like part of your growth, it's like you're in the right place. This is, I'll say this overall. You're in the right place at the right time. If you feel like you're off track, you're not. Just because things are challenging or certain things pop up that aren't like exactly what you want, that doesn't mean you're off track. It's just like, ask yourself, why is this popping up? What's the lesson? What's this trying to teach me? What am I missing? What am I not paying attention to? Is this a distraction? Just, ask yourself those questions. You also have Azurite with Divine Guidance. Nice next to this card because it kind of feels like you're coming up to, like if this was a video game, you'd be walking into, I don't know, a cavern or something and finding like this big kind of ethereal being to teach you something, and teach you a new spell or teach you a new, upgrade in your health amount or something like that. That's kind of how it's feeling. So Azurite does feel like divine. Azure is like that lovely blue color. And anyway, it says here, divine guidance, stillness, new connections, astral travel. So maybe you're starting to branch out and open your gifts. Like I said, this was going to be peeling the onion, kind of like going through the layers. This is like a deep inner connection, understanding. It's going to be probably a reading that you may have to listen to multiple times to really comprehend, or just like listen to it once and just see what comes up. Take it as like knowledge that you're in a good place, you're in the right, you're where you're meant to be, is what I'm trying to essentially say. Okay. These three want to pop out together. We'll take them. I'm going to see what they are now. I want to know. So you have the Six of Portals, which is like the Six of Cups, that energy of growth, change over time, reminiscing about the past, you know, past loved ones, past how you're treated as a child, or certain challenges, certain blessings that you had, like amazing birthdays or whatever, you know, events that you got to go on, that kind of thing. But I do like a stone circle too, because it feels very spiritual. You've got Whispers of the Universe with the 6 of activation. So another 6, so you got 2 6s coming through. And funny enough, this is the 55th card, so it's like 5 5 6 6. Repetitive numbers coming through. Whispers of the Universe. Yeah, I feel like you have connected with something here. This is an opportunity to transition and change as well. There is like aspects of that. This could also be travel as well. And deciding what you take with you, right? The 6 of Swords is that transition. All the swords are in the boat. You don't get to just like leave them behind just because you move to a different city or country. Doesn't mean you don't take your baggage with you. Your baggage will stay with you until you decide to work through it. Yeah, microcosm going. This is in. I keep saying it's internal. This is an internal job. Things may have happened on the external, on the outside. Difficulties, challenges, amazing things, ups and downs. But this is all impacting your internal, like you can see here with the blood cells, the atoms, DNA, sperm cells, and egg cells. Like it's all very, the bits and pieces that make us who we are. We don't really think about our liver, right? We don't, day to day, we're not thinking about our liver. And sometimes we might not even be thinking about breathing. It just happens naturally, and just like, you know what you're doing. You white blood cells know what you're doing after I get a cut, right? And germs come in. They're like, we don't think about it. We're not like, okay, you guys need to march out and heal this wound. So, you know, I mean, you could think about that if you want, but generally we just leave things to it. I feel like you're starting to have a deeper connection with yourself, is how it feels with this card. Okay. What a wild, interesting reading, part number 3. This is not where I thought it was going to go. I knew it was going to be deep and into the depths. So I just didn't, like, you never know what's going to uncover from here. And I still don't really know what the message necessarily is, besides, you know, let that internal understanding and growth come through, I guess, or let yourself go into the depths of who you are, because there's blessing and learning in there. Your guides are guiding you towards this thing, let's say. Let's take another card. There's like a song popping in my head, and it's like, I reach out to you. Don't want to be alone. It's true. I reach out to you. I can't remember, I don't know the song, but that's popping up in my head. Just those lyrics. I don't know if this is your higher self, or if this is like inner child aspect, but you know, meditate on that, or consider that as well. Got the King of Pentacles, very nice. I do like this because I feel like you deserve this. Like, I don't know what this is necessarily for you, but I feel like you've worked for this and you deserve it. So King of Pentacles, you know, in its standard form, is the person or the energy of having exactly what you need to create what you want. And that's like, there was already valued. You're already a worthy person to get what you want. You already have the enough of the stuff around you to be able to create. Does that mean sometimes you might have to get a mortgage to get a house? Probably, right? You don't have the millions of dollars you want for the mansion or whatever you want in your life, right? But this is having the means to get the desires, which is good, because I feel like you deserve that. Do you believe you deserve that? You should, but you know, it's personal. Two of Pentacles coming through. Decisions. I like that there's an aspect of earth and light. Don't, you know, once you wake up, you don't have to put all your energy into light work. You're also here on earth for a purpose. If you were just going to be doing astral stuff, higher light stuff, you wouldn't have come down here. So, you know, find a balance between both earth, heaven and earth, and also a balance between everything in life, really finding the harmony. And there's not a set balance. There's not a set goal. It's not 50-50 is correct. Balance for you and a partner cooking, right, might be you 70% or they 70% and them 30%. Or you 100% and them 0%, right? It's finding a balance because there's so many other things that are out there. This isn't about other people. This is about you and your decisions on what harmony and what balance is. So you've got a 9 of Wands. Yeah, this is why I said you deserve it. Keep going. It's not going to get worse. It's just going to be different. And it's better than sitting in this kind of energy, especially with the 6 of activation, 6 of Swords being above the whispers from the universe. You're being coaxed and pushed and prodded and nudged into the direction of what you actually want to experience. So if you're not experiencing what you really want out of life, this is a big reading of start shifting that, start making the shifts and changes towards those goals. The earth just really feels like today with these readings just really wants to, you know, give you back the power that you already have, or like remind you, I guess is a better way of wording it, remind you of the power you already have to make the changes you want to see. There's nothing you can't do. You know, of course, if you're like, well, what if I wanted to be an astronaut and I'm now in my 90s? They're not going to take me, so I can't do that. But is that what you're called to do? Don't worry about just trying to argue the point. Find what actually you want to do and start making the steps towards that instead of all the things you can't do, right? Who cares about all that? If you don't want to do it, what's the point in even talking about it? Do the thing you want to do. Yeah, go for it. I love this card for you at the end. It's like reinvigorating you regardless of your age. Don't use age as an excuse. Don't use anything as an excuse. I don't know why I feel like a parent telling you off, but you know, the Page of Wands is that inner child coming through, getting back to what you want to do. If you can't, you know, go back to it's kind of interesting, right? Because back in the day, like if I'm saying back in the day, but like back then you would have to, if you wanted to learn knitting, you'd have to go get a book out of a library or go, you know, to a class seminar. You can literally watch YouTube. You can see people actually do it and start knitting or crocheting or whatever, you know, creative outlet you want to start learning. There's so much information out there now that it's almost making a lot of degrees and stuff in my mind, irrelevant. It's almost like you get those to show that you can finish a degree to get the job. When really it's like, shouldn't the actual skills be useful in the job? Probably not, because once you get the job, you learn all the skills you need anyway. It's just, this world's funny. Sometimes it drives me a little bit like bonkers. But anyway, that's beside the point. The earth is really coming through to just say, connect with your inner child, start doing the things that you want to see. You already have everything that you need to be able to start the progress towards these goals. There's a lot of like internal, like uncovering internal things as well. If you feel like you're hermiting, I don't feel like this is a bad thing. The hermit didn't come out, but you're really, you know, in the process of I don't know, it feels like soothing the inner world. The world, or our earth is talking about your inner world, talking about your macrocosm. I love that came out. This is also the initiative earth guardians, so that's like the learning. This is the one who learns, who studies, that kind of thing. And studying is however you want to. You can go get an apprenticeship. You can go online and learn a whole lot of stuff and start doing it. You don't have to be told when or why you can't or have to do something. Just go do it. Anyway, I feel like you're highly supported by your guides, Azurite, and this card, Mitra, coming through is very much support. This is a very slow moving card, right? Because sometimes we need to slow down. It's also Mercury retrograde if you're watching this very early. Mercury retrograde is going on, and that's an opportunity. I find Mercury retrograde is great because it's not about go, 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 go. It's to slow down and deal with your own crap or stuff that you've got going on. Which is probably why people don't like it, because they're like, no, I don't want to deal with my own stuff. It's like, okay, well, if you don't deal with it, then it's just going to be laid on next time this retrograde comes around, because they come around all the time. Mercury is always in retrograde because it's like zooming around the sun very quickly, and we're kind of like 365 days, and then they're like whoop 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 whoop. So it's a lot quicker. Is pretty much my point. But anywho, I hope this helps. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the notes below. Come back to this reading if you're like, what happened in this reading? Come back to it, bookmark it, write it in your diary, set an alarm to come back to it in a week's time or something like that, because maybe it'll help then and you'll have more clarity on what this is about. If not, no worries at all. You're here to do what you need to do and what you want to do. You're not here to follow anyone else's story or advice, right? You're really here to do what you feel is correct in your heart. And this all wants to come out. So keep peeling back the layers of who you are and understanding more about yourself. You can learn that through the past. Even if the past isn't happening now, there's still like lessons in learning from the past. So, look after your heart space, look after your heart, and go forward with whatever you feel is correct for you. But anywho, I'm going to leave you there before I go on another tangent. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. Take care of yourself, and I will see you next time. Take care.